Violence has been unyielding in El Salvador since the Civil War, when 1 million Salvadorans fled the country. Today, the violence is at epidemic levels, according to the United Nations, and the chances of success of iron fist policing strategies are slim. Recently, Salvadoran President Mauricio Funes appointed a former military general to head the National Civilian Police. As the drug war ramps up in Central America and corruption in the National Police persists, is this the solution? 1980s. During El Salvador's 12-year civil war, 1 in 5 Salvadorans, 1 million people, flee the country, many settling in the United States. Various factors, including economic limitations and social cohesion, contribute to the birth of Salvadoran street gangs MS-13 and M-18. As U.S. deportation policies grow stricter in the 1990s, gang issues are exported to El Salvador. 1992, December. The signing of the peace accords puts an end to the Salvadoran Civil War. The accords recognize the Farabundo Martí National Liberation Front as a political party. They also create the National Civilian Police, or PNC, to replace the security forces, which had disappeared tens of thousands of campesinos and others the government had labeled as subversive. The new apolitical force pledges to respect human rights. 1994. Sombra Negra, a death squad that claims to combat crime, forms in San Miguel. By April of 1995, the group has carried out 17 executions. Later that year, 10 alleged members are arrested. 4 of them serve in the National Police. Today, human rights experts assert that death squads still operate in El Salvador and target suspected pandilleros or local gang members. 1996. The U.S. government implements the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act and the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act. Shoplifting and small-time drug selling become deportable offenses, and immigrants' rights to appeal deportation decisions are restricted. Between 1995 and 1997, the number of Salvadorans deported from the U.S. more than doubles. 2003, July. Salvadoran President Paco Flores declares a state of emergency and announces Plan Mano Dura, Iron Fist, in response to the country's crime epidemic. The plan targets suspected gang members based on their tattoos and who they associate with. Police round up tens of thousands of people, 95% of whom are released for lack of evidence. 2004. President Tony Saca pushes Plan Super Mano Dura. Again, the policing measure targets people based on alleged gang affiliations, leading to stigmatization of gang members and numerous reports of extrajudicial killings by police. 2005. The prison situation in El Salvador starts to make the news. Salvadoran prisons are notorious for overcrowding and a lack of internal security. At the end of 2005, the country's 22 prisons hold 12,500 people. They had been designed to hold 7,400. In recent years, Salvadoran prisons have been scenes of deadly fires, riots, and fights between rival gangs. Today, 21 prisons hold 24,000 people. 2006. The U.S. opens the International Law Enforcement Academy, ILEA, in San Salvador, following the passage of CAFTA, the Central American Free Trade Agreement. At the ILEA, law enforcement personnel from various U.S. agencies train police officers from around Latin America. U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice announces that the goal of the ILEA is to make Latin America safe for foreign investment. Critics worry that the ILEA will be another school of the Americas, this time for the police. 2009. Zaira Navas, Inspector General of the PNC, begins investigating many top police officials to root out corruption. Despite attacks from the right wing, President Mauricio Funes supported Navas. Between 1999 and 2005, the PNC had fired 3,285 officers for connections to organized crime and participation in robberies, kidnappings, and other crimes. And in 2008, the police commissioner had resigned amidst an investigation into his connections with drug traffickers. 2010, September. Salvadoran lawmakers approve a new law against gang membership, La Ley Antimaras. Gang members can be sent to prison for 4 to 6 years, while gang leaders face up to 10 years. The law is part of another repressive strategy to combat gangs. Past attempts, Mano Dura and Super Mano Dura, led to extensive rights violations. 2011, October. According to a United Nations report, Honduras and El Salvador have the highest homicide rates in the world. Honduras faces a homicide rate of 82 per 100,000 people. For every 100,000 Salvadorans, there are 66 homicides. 2011, November. As part of a reshuffle which sweeps all leftist FMLN members out of the Public Security Ministry, General Francisco Ramon Salinas is named to head the heretofore civilian-led National Police, and David Munguia Paez is appointed to be Security Minister. Many human rights defenders in El Salvador charge that these appointments are a violation of the 1992 peace accords, which limit the participation of the military in public security. 2012, January. Security Minister Mungia Paes reveals that he's talked with Salvadoran business interests about a plan to privatize prisons as a solution to overcrowding while saving the government money. Private prisons in the U.S. have been plagued by violence between prisoners and violence perpetuated by prison staff. Follow the news about the ongoing militarization of El Salvador and learn what you can do to fight it at CISPES.org.